Hello, creeps. It's me, John Kassir, the voice of the Crypt Keeper. You're listening to Tony and Cooley on the Redbeard Podcast.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tony from Redbeard Podcast. Guess what, guys? It's Friday, and I'm hanging out with my boy,
Cooley.
Yeah, it's actually not really Friday, though. I'm just saying it is because you guys are listening to it on Friday, but I'm totally in Vegas right now when you guys are listening to it. so suck on that for a minute. But,
nice.
But yeah, man, no, hey, happy Friday, everybody. How you doing, man? How you doing, actually on Not Really Friday, though?
Dude, I'm, like, sick.
Yeah.
And when I say sick, I mean I'm not, like, flu or severe cold sick. I have what's called a middle ear infection, and it sucks penis.
Yeah, man, that sucks, dude. I used to have ear infections as a kid. It's the worst. I feel for you, dude. You know, it'll pass, man. It fucking blows.
It's like I'm dizzy and shit.
Yeah, your equilibrium's all off. That was a good movie, though, with Christian Bale, Equilibrium. But yeah, man, dude, we had so much. We had such a good time at Terracon, though, this past weekend before you started to feel under the weather. What did you think of Terracon, man? Did you enjoy it? Because that's where we were this past weekend. It was awesome.
Yeah, I loved it, man. I liked. At first, I was thrown off by how low key it was.
Right.
But I warmed up to it because it was better than going to a convention that's jam-packed.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could get more done. You can actually talk to more people. You can build rapport with people. Like we walked by so many people and just like kind of got to know them just by saying hello 3 or 4 times and then finally stopping and talking. It was just cool. It was more of a community vibe than a well, basically that's what a convention should be. But it was just more of a community vibe than I normally get at large conventions. It was a different feeling altogether.
Yeah, I liked it though. Like I mean, it kind of reminded me of what Walker Stalker was the first time that we ever went, because you know it wasn't like super busy when we got there, so we were able to interview like some really cool people like Zach Galligan from played Billy in Gremlins. We were able to kind of like grab an interview with him because there wasn't like a huge line. So I feel like it as cool as it is to be at a convention where there's a ton of people and it's a completely different vibe altogether and there's a different energy in the entire place, I feel like this, it did kind of have that sense of like it was more of a community type deal, and it just gave us more time to really just start conversations with the artists and start conversations with the guests. And one of the things that I really liked is that, it wasn't hard to move, you could kind of just walk around and have enough room to kind of bump into people. And, I mean, at Comic-Con, we were just bumping into people everywhere you moved. It was just,
right.
It got uncomfortable. And this was not the case. We just had a lot more time to interview people. Because we were just walking around, and I feel like when we went to panels, it also gave us more of a chance to jump up and ask like a question where you didn't have like 20 people waiting in line to ask a question,
Yeah, and what was cool about it too is that it did better than what they expected. So, like while the numbers were low as far as the attendance goes, it was steady. Mm-hmm. So they had a good turnout, enough that they would entertain the idea of keeping this convention going on an annual basis. And that's actually really cool because if you remember or not, this is kind of how Rhode Island Comic-Con started out. Probably a little bigger than how Rhode Island Comic-Con started out, but still like that same feeling of a really low-key environment,
Yeah, I mean, Rhode Island Comic-Con was a baby, maybe 4 years ago, and it was exactly like Terracon was this year, and now it's just a monster, and it's getting a lot of traction too. And I have no doubt that Terracon's going to be the same way. I do feel like they need to get more guests, though. Granted, it was maybe like a test convention. I feel like they need to start bringing in bigger names. Like they need to start bringing in people like Robert Englund. They need to start bringing in, maybe people like Wes Craven, but Wes Craven's dead. But you know what I mean? You totally missed me on that one.
Yeah.
No, you missed it. I said they need to bring in Wes Craven.
Oh, yeah, dead. Totally. Totally. Bring in Wes Craven and who else can they bring in? The little chick from Poltergeist.
Poltergeist, yeah. You know what would be cool if they got like somebody like Eli Roth, though. I feel like he'd do really well at Terracon.
That'd be dope.
You'd have a lot of stuff to talk about with him, and he's just a cool guy in general. I don't know. I mean, but I did have fun. We did record a lot of stuff that we're putting out for you guys. If you hop on Red Bear Podcast on the Facebook page or just our redbeardpodcast.com website, then you will be able to see 3 interviews that are up now. One is with Kane Hodder, who actually played Jason. He was awesome. And 2 other interviews, 2 of 5 actually, that we have with a buddy of ours, and he interviewed a couple cosplayers as a character he does called Wicked Lou. So make sure you guys check that out. He got to interview Ming Chen, and Russia and Joe are the only other people I'm going to mention right now that are posted. You will find out who the other ones are as we release them. But let's talk about the Kane Hodder interview, man, and what went down. So you were filming this, and I could just see you laughing the entire time because of what was going on.
Dude, I was fucking losing it.
So do you want to explain what you saw from your point of view?
So I was, first of all, I was mad because I didn't have the camera ready for the pre-interview shenanigans that were going on.
Right.
Basically, he was just fucking ragging on you for just being pale.
Yeah, being a ginger. Yeah.
But the funniest part I did get on film, which is when he tried to tell Ari Mihailov that you were a ginger, and he misunderstood him and thought he said ninja. And he was like, "No, ginger." And he was like, "Show him your hair." And you would just you would not taking your hat off. You were like, "Fuck that! I'm not showing Leatherface my hair."
It's just so weird when people do that.
Dude, I was rolling, and you can't tell how big the smile is on my face right now because I sound like shit, but I am cheesing.
Yeah. I just think it's so funny when people are they clearly were calling me a ginger, and he's like, "Show him your hair." It's like, one, I have a hat on for a reason because my hair's fucking a mess. That's why I didn't want to do anything with it. 2, and I'm a bitch about it. And then 2, obviously, if you're calling me a ginger, I already have red hair, so why the fuck do I have to show you? You get it. You know what I'm saying?
It was for Leatherface's edification.
Oh, whatever, man. I don't give a shit if he's Leatherface. So, but either way, man, I mean, the interview just went in a completely different direction than where I thought it was going to go. I was able to ask him questions, but I didn't expect him to grab me by the throat and fake choke me for a second, but actually kind of real choke me. He grabbed me by the throat and squeezed a little bit to the point where it caught me so off guard that I was like, "Oh shit, he's actually putting pressure." And then just when I realized I probably wasn't going to be able to breathe, he released my throat. And you can kind of see my shock when he grabs me, and I'm kind of I can't really breathe. But he was just a super nice guy, and I can kind of cross off my bucket list that I got choked by Jason Voorhees, the real one. So that was kind of cool. But he's a super nice guy.
Yeah, and then he fake punched you in the face.
Fake punched me in the face, and then he punched me in the sternum at the end of the interview. I mean, the fact that he was willing to joke around, and not take himself too seriously is something
awesome.
that I really like about him. You can kind of step out of his celebrity status for a second and just be real with us. And I feel like he's just one of those cool celebrities you can chill with, because we tried to interview him back at Walker Stalker, but it was at the end of the convention. He had too much stuff that he had to kind of wrap up. But we just caught him at the right time, and he had 10 minutes to spare with us. So it was pretty awesome.
He did say that he got to play the Friday the 13th video game.
Yeah.
And he basically called it out on being like super, super hard to get away from Jason and how fucked up it is to get caught by him. So I'm so looking forward to that game. It's going to be a blast.
Well, he actually did the motion capture for it too.
Right.
as Jason. So not only has he played it, he actually did all the like I said, the motion capture as Jason. So Jason does look exactly like he did in the movie and will move the same exact way that he did in the movie because it's him. So that's a plus. It's not just some animator's idea of how Jason is going to move. They're taking his actual movements.
I got to chat with Olivia.
You did from The Walking Dead, man, and she was super sweet, wasn't she?
Yeah, Anne Mahoney's a sweetie. Totally just caught me off guard, like how down to earth she was. A fan had made a custom pop vinyl figure of her, so we got a picture of that. We'll post that up. I thought that was freaking cute as hell. Mm-hmm. She started talking about the new show that she's on, Sun Records, where she plays Elvis's mom. Mm-hmm. And I found that to be really weird because she doesn't look like she's old enough to be like the mother of Elvis Presley in his late, I don't know if it's supposed to be in his late teens or early 20s or whatever.
Well, I caught an episode the other night and happened to see her. They did do a little bit of makeup work, but not a ton. So I don't know in what time period that scene was supposed to take place.
Yeah. So no, it caught me off guard though. I thought like she was going to play like either a friend or a love interest or I don't know anything about Elvis, so of course through my mind I'm thinking maybe a sister or something. But when I heard mother, I was just like, oh, okay, because she looks wicked young.
She does.
Yeah, like she doesn't look like old enough as well, is all I'm saying. But if they did some good makeup on her and whatnot, I'm sure she can pull it off as an actress. She's awesome, and I was telling her just as we got to start kind of rooting for Olivia and like getting to know her and caring about her. Of course, they pull the plug and shoot her in the head.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
She actually, in the interview that we're going to post, she does get a little emotional when you were talking to her about, her character, dying on the show. And I thought that was interesting. Like you forget that, this is a character that is on one of the biggest shows on TV right now. And, as somebody who's, worked with other people in an acting standpoint, like you start to actually form a family with these people. They really do become like your second family because you're working with them every day. You're creating like this relationship with you, off stage and on stage. So just to kind of be taken out of that and have your character die, like I really respected how emotional she got and how real it was for her.
Right.
Yeah, she was just super nice too. Like really was so psyched to talk to us, and I am really psyched that her new show, is doing well as well because she was telling us that like it got like great ratings. So I'm glad that not only has she left The Walking Dead, but her success is continuing. So that's awesome.
Correct.
Yeah. And
she was doing them both at the same time.
Yeah, she was going like from Atlanta to Memphis, going like back and forth.
So good for her.
Yeah.
The Chuckles the Clown crew.
Oh my God.
The Chuckles the Clown crew.
Those guys are insane.
Yeah.
But awesome.
Yeah.
In an awesome way.
They're like insane clown posse.
Yeah, that's
right?
basically what they are, yeah.
No, I mean, not really. I mean, like, they're not like juggalos or anything, but they're just like really, it's really, they're cool, man. Like, they stay in character the whole time, Yeah. Like, it was fun to talk to them and chill out. They had a lot of cool things there. The car from Christine.
Oh, they had the car from Christine.
Like it was a rebuilt 58 Chevy that was actually restored using parts from the original car, which is actually really cool.
Exactly.
And when it started up, it smelled like it too.
Yeah, it did. It smelled like shit. Especially when they were leaving. They were like, the car was pulling out. We were like, are we getting like smoked out of here? Yeah, I mean, they had, what else did they have there, man? They had one of the cars from the original Jurassic Park movies, which I thought was kind of cool. That was actually at RI Comic Con. That's on Instagram.
They had the GTO from
Supernatural.
Supernatural, right?
Yep. And if you guys check out our YouTube channel, you can see our interview with DJ Qualls, and that car is right behind him.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool that came back as well. What else did they have? I was actually lucky enough. I know Cooley wasn't necessarily into this, but they had King Ezekiel there at Terracon, and Don actually went up and wanted to meet him and got an autograph. And we were talking to him a little bit, and he's just a super nice guy, very down to earth. I'm 6'2". He's got to be like 5'8". I mean, he's actually like a pretty short guy, but he was just such a nice guy. I said to him, I was like, I can't wait to see you throw down on the show, and he's like, me either. I can't wait till I get the throw down. So I mean, he can't really tell us anything. But we were also talking to him about. I said, I was like, I really like I went to school for theater, man. I was like, so I really appreciate your theatrical accent. And he goes, yes, that is my Banquo voice. He put it on, and he started talking like King Ezekiel. And he was actually telling us that he played Banquo in the Scottish play. For those of you that don't know, it's the Scottish play is a reference to Macbeth. But he played Banquo and had to put like this gelatinous material on his face, on his head and his face to make him look like he was dead, and he did it in an amphitheater of like 2,500 people. So it was just kind of cool to know that he also is somebody that has theater experience. He can kind of really understand what kind of presence King Ezekiel is trying to put on, for this kingdom, kind of community. So it was kind of cool to hear him talk in the King Ezekiel voice, but he was super nice, man. And I can't wait to see more of what his character does in the show. And I know, Cooley, you probably know a lot more, but I don't think we've seen shit yet. So
did you guys actually turn to the right and meet Seth Gilliam?
I didn't meet Seth Gilliam. I met Seth Gilliam like 2 years ago at RI Comic-Con. It was quick, but he was super nice too. Yeah, I was like, hey, I was like, nice job on the show. That's when like nobody really knew him yet. He was kind of like the asshole priest that everybody hated.
Yeah.
I was like, nice job on the show, man. And he was like, oh, thanks a lot. Appreciate it, man. And I was like, nice to meet you. But he was nice. Michael Cudlitz was still there, man, just like taking selfies with everybody. And then, oh my God, Sid Haig was there.
That dude is great.
Sid Haig is a baller, man. Like that guy's in his 70s, maybe late 70s.
Let's find out.
And he is just still raunchy. He's still sick. But he's also very intelligent. Like he's not one of these guys that just kind of like came out of nowhere. Like he's got like over 100 credits on IMDb of like, film credits. The guy is
77 years old.
77, dude. And he was just right up there with all the rest of the guys, I really just like his attitude, man. We went to something called the Slasher Panel, where it was, American Werewolf in London, Sid Haig, Kane Hodder, the guy who played Leatherface, and his name is actually escaping me, and another actor from a movie that I completely forgot. I actually didn't know who he was. I had to look it up, but overall, these people are just super cool, and they're just getting raunchy on stage and talking about like all the different experiences they've had. And you had asked a question, and what was that?
Shit, I don't even know.
It was. I think it was like if you could play another.
Oh yeah, that's
character.
right. If you could switch characters with somebody, who would that character be and why?
Yeah.
And he said Frankenstein.
He said Frankenstein,
which was fucking awesome, man.
Yeah.
Like I didn't expect that at all.
No.
Like came completely out of left field, and and his reason behind it, like because of De Niro's
portrayal,
exactly, was just awesome because De Niro's like my favorite portrayal of Frankenstein.
Yeah. And he says, he really captured the essence of somebody actually, being made from all these different parts. He goes, it wasn't like a dude with like bolts in his neck.
Yeah, like a robot.
Like a robot. And he's like, no offense. He's like, but, De Niro killed it, and I loved his portrayal. I thought that was awesome. I asked him that question about, how do you think horror has changed? Now that we have CGI and stuff like that, do you prefer CGI or practical effects? And he was all about practical effects.
Now, have you ever seen House of a Thousand Corpses?
Yes. And I've also seen Devil's Rejects, which I think was even more fucked up.
Captain Spaulding is a fucking cool character, man.
He is.
like it's weird because like you don't find many like straight up murderers that you kind of root for. Mm-hmm. And you end up almost rooting for Captain Spaulding. Like you want to see him on screen. You know, his charisma just kind of carries the character and makes you kind of like the character, and you almost want to be part of the family, even though you know it's a fucked up family. It's just he's just a cool cat, man. Like and that's him. He's bringing that to that character, and just an amazing force. You know, behind the camera. I mean, in front of the camera, I should say.
Hell yeah. I mean, and like I said, I really respect him because he's done so much, you know, and he has so much under his belt and so much experience. I mean, and even Kane Hodder said, he's like, you know, he goes, if you want to be blown away, he goes, just go to this guy's IMDb. He goes and look up everything that he's done. You know, like he's just not, you know, House of a Thousand Corpses. Like this guy's been around the block. So he's seen it all, man. He's been doing stuff since like the 70s. So I don't know. I mean, I think Walker Stalker as a whole, man, was super fun. And one of the highlights for me was we got to meet John Kassir, the voice of the Crypt Keeper. You know, you guys will definitely. I think you guys already actually heard the Crypt Keeper. And if you want to check it out again, check it out on Instagram. He actually does a live video for us that you can view, which is pretty cool. So, and he was so awesome. Here's the thing I didn't understand. Remember we were talking to him, and he said that, you know, Tales from the Crypt wasn't actually going to be a thing. It wasn't actually going to be happening because of the rights. Yeah, well, M. Night Shyamalan actually just released the trailer for Tales from the Crypt. And he said that it wasn't happening. I don't know if he couldn't talk about it, but you actually see the Crypt Keeper, like the actual Crypt Keeper, like in the preview. And you hear what sounds like, you know, the Crypt Keeper's voice. So I don't know if it was something that he couldn't talk about yet because, you know, maybe M. Night Shyamalan hadn't released the trailer, but it got released like the next day after TerraCon was over. So, but he was like went into great detail as why it wasn't happening.
Yeah.
So
he had reasons.
Yeah, he had like reasons, but then like the trailer came out and I was so confused by it. Maybe it's because it's not actually his voice. It's somebody that can actually do the Crypt Keeper really well.
We're going to have to tweet him.
Yeah, man, because like if you listen to the Crypt Keeper, like when they do it, it sounds like it starts off like the Crypt Keeper and then they mess with it to distort it. But, you know, it definitely sounded, and obviously it was the actual Crypt Keeper, you know, animatronic doll that was in the original Tales from the Crypt, I guess, unless it was a replica, but... yeah, he had a bunch of reasons as to why it wasn't coming out, where they didn't have the full rights, or TNT didn't have the rights. So he said it was like a big clusterfuck. But I don't know, man, because it got made, unless he was like sworn to secrecy and had no idea the trailer was going to drop like 24 hours later. But I don't know. That was interesting. Oh, dude, and I just saw this today. And it's worth mentioning because it is so badass. So, I guess Netflix actually dropped a ton of money, man, to actually put out this movie. So check this out. I'm actually gonna read this. Like,
talking about the Brad Pitt one?
No. So, basically, this is So Netflix paid $105 million to actually unite a bunch of these actors for one movie, and it's going to be directed by Scorsese. So. And the film is going to be called The Irishman, and it's going to be directed, like I said, by Scorsese. They want to release it in 2019, right? So it tells the story of a mob hitman. His name's Frank Sheeran, and he's going to be played by De Niro. And that's going to be De Niro's 9th film with Martin Scorsese. So just think about that for a second, right? Mm-hmm. That's legit. The other thing is Al Pacino is actually going to be in it, and guess who Al Pacino's playing?
Who?
Jimmy Hoffa.
Wow.
Right, dude? So, and this was his first ever film with Scorsese. And it's saying only his third with De Niro. So, I mean, they were in The Godfather together, but they didn't have a scene together. And guess he's also having Joe Pesci in the film as well. So this is like, Joe Pesci hasn't been in a Martin Scorsese film, dude, since Goodfellas. You know what I'm saying? So this is a baller cast. Already you've got Scorsese directing it, which is awesome, right? De Niro, Pacino, and then Joe Pesci, right? He's also going to get Harvey Keitel. Like, dude, this is like a killer cast, right? And you're also going to get Bobby Cannavale. And he won some stuff for Boardwalk Empire, which Scorsese actually was involved in. So the only thing about this film is that it's been in pre-production for like 5 years. Like, it keeps getting talked about but never made. But the fact that Netflix dropped $105 million to get this thing made, and it's going to be Netflix specific, I think is awesome. So if this actually does get released in 2019, man, it's going to be fucking huge. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, that cast alone is insane. And they're only going to bring in more people. I wouldn't be surprised if he somehow got DiCaprio involved. You know, because DiCaprio is like, you know, Scorsese's boy. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. So I don't know. That's definitely some interesting information that I thought our listeners would like to hear about.
Yeah, we ran into Andrea Perrin.
Oh yeah, back to Terracon, man. Andrea Perrin, a good friend of mine, of ours now. She is just such a sweetheart, man. You know, like really loves to just talk about you know, her experiences with everybody, share her knowledge about, you know, what happened in that house, make sure that everybody knows the true story. And she is just a super nice woman, you know. She really is nice to talk to, has a great energy. And I adore her. I think she's awesome. She got to meet Becca for the first time. That was really cool. Becca said right away, she goes, you could just tell that she's from Rhode Island, you know? Like, she has like that whole Rhode Island kind of vibe. But if you guys do not know much about Andrea Perrin or don't know exactly who we're talking about, she is the eldest of the 5 daughters who actually lived in the house that The Conjuring is based on in Harrisville, Rhode Island. So she has a 3-volume book series out called House of Darkness, House of Light, which is actually the true story of what happened in that house, not the you know, Conjuring version. The Conjuring version was, you know, more of like a made-for-film TV, you know, just a movie that was supposed to be horror. So they added a lot of stuff in there that didn't actually happen. So if you want to know what really happened, read the books, and I can assure you it's a lot more terrifying than what actually happened in the movie. She also let everybody know that she couldn't really talk too much about it, but she did say that her she just got a movie deal where there are 3 films that are going to be made based on her, you know, 3-volume trilogy, the books, you know, the real story, and she's actually writing the screenplay for it. So, and her goal is, if everything goes well, she's actually going to film it in the actual house in Harrisville. If that all falls into place. She said there's a really big director that's working on it, but she couldn't tell us his name. So I'm super psyched for her. You know, she deserves it. I'm really glad that the true story is actually going to be told instead of, you know, the Conjuring, because that's not exactly what happened.
Yeah, and it sounds really, really interesting too. You know, we got to see her panel, and
yeah,
you know, she kind of gave us a short synopsis, basically, of everything that really happened. She also told us when we got to talk to her, you know, last year, a couple of years ago, actually, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, her story is really, really, really cool.
Definitely.
If you want to get like a sneak peek of that, you can actually check out the interview that we had with her. It's on YouTube. It's on our website, redbeardpodcast.com.
Definitely. So aside from Terracon, man, there's some really cool things, especially regarding one of my favorite movies coming out in May. They released the second Alien Covenant trailer, which, you know, you had a chance to look at. But, dude, I mean, they're releasing so much stuff with this film. Like, they released, like, the prologue, you know, The Last Supper, which we talked about last week, which I thought was awesome. Because, you know, if you're trying to get a feel for what this movie's going to be, that was a really good, sneak peek. But the second trailer really actually gave a lot more. I think just gave everybody a bigger glance of what's going to happen.
I want to know what they stepped in. Somebody stepped in something that looked like alien shit.
Yeah, and that's something I actually wanted to talk to you about, man, because One of my favorite parts of that trailer is actually when they're standing there and she's like, "You hear that?" And they're like, "Hear what?" And she's like, "Exactly." She's like, "There's no animals, there's no birds, there's no nothing. It's just silence." And I was kind of like, yeah, but why? Like, is it supposed to be like that, or is something happen on that planet where everything's dead? You know, and like that's why where I was like, okay, yeah, maybe it's just a desolate planet like Mars in The Martian, like there's nothing.
Right.
But was there something there that isn't there?
Well,
now?
something planted wheat or grain.
Exactly, which could have been the creators. You know what I mean? Because that's an Earth thing, wheat. So I'm wondering how that got there. And then yeah, whatever he stepped in looked like some kind of like fecal matter, but also the particles within it are organic in some way,
like spores.
Yeah, spores, because they went into Billy Crudup's ear, which you see in the first trailer,
Right.
But they didn't really get much into that in the second trailer. We got to see kind of a room full of eggs, where the face huggers are ready to go. And we see one jump out, and it's obviously going to be I think Billy Crudup's fate. But
Showed its vag.
yeah, exactly, man. That's exactly what it did. So I just think like we're really getting into, the alien that we all love and know and are afraid of, and kind of began the whole Alien franchise. I just, for me, it's like wherever there's an egg, there's a queen, and that gets me excited, So I don't know if we're going to see that, probably not, but where the hell are these eggs coming from? And we get to see the alien, and what that alien looks like when it takes, a human as the host, because we saw it take the form of the creator, which was the host last time, and it looked a little weird. So this looks like the alien that we know. So, and there looked like there were a couple different versions of aliens. One was kind of white, and it was jumping on somebody. There was one kind of like running through this like red room. There was another one on top of the ship that looks like it's going down. So I don't know, man. I'm excited.
It just seems like overkill, though.
I don't know, though. I mean, I don't know if it's overkill. I think it might be one or two aliens. I don't think it's going to be a ton of them. But there is that weird view, which they were like, post-production or pre-production photos where it looked like there was like this city of like these, not a city, but like just like a lot, like a parking lot size worth of, space where it looked like these bodies or these aliens were just kind of like frozen, almost looked like frozen in place. And I kind of saw, what I thought was a preview of that, like from where they were standing to where the ship was. It looked like they were all there. Whether they're alive or not, I don't know, because it was a very quick glance. But I don't know, man. I'm pumped for this. I'm super pumped. I can't wait to see what happens. And what did you say about what's his name? Danny McBride.
Oh yeah, we know he lasts pretty deep into the movie because we see him dealing with the alien in what seems like a very climactic scene.
Right.
We don't know if it's the last scene. We don't know if it's like near that, but we know it's not something that's probably going to happen in the beginning of the film.
Exactly.
Or the middle.
Right.
So that being the case, I said we know who we didn't see in the trailer that we saw now. And that's Jamal, or whatever his name is.
Jamal from Empire.
Yeah. Jamal from Empire doesn't make it too far in.
White Jamal.
Yeah.
So, and you saw the Guardians of the Galaxy trailer, man, which you were like all about. And I checked it out, dude. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, man, that shit was great.
Yeah. What was your favorite part?
Dude, like it's just the way they cut their trailers is like it's a clinic in how you cut a trailer. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like the Alien trailer was great, but when you look at a Guardians of the Galaxy trailer, and I'm talking even like the beginning, like the first movie, their trailers are cut to the music so perfectly, that you can't help but get excited. It's like watching a well done music video for a trailer. It's just fucking awesome. So for me, my favorite part was really just how the music blended with the trailer once again. especially Baby Groot kind of plugging in what looks like speakers. Actually, like I don't know what the hell he's plugging in. It probably something to do with like some kind of weapon or something like that Rocket made, but because it's so tied to the music, it looks like he's plugging in speakers, which he very well may be, because we don't know what the hell James Gunn is going to give us in this film. But that shit was really cool because he plugs it in and then the fucking music starts and it's like it's just cut so well.
I will say that the one thing about the Guardians of the Galaxy's trailers, or Galaxy trailers, is that the music in the trailers is what gets me like excited.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm a big fan of like, 80s music or like 90s music or whatever, but the music that they have in their trailers is fun. Like it gives you that sense of fun. Like, that when you go into this movie, it's going to have like some awesome action, but it's also going to have like a lot of moments with comedy. It's just going to be a fun movie.
Yeah. I also liked Peter Quill, like kind of calling Gamora out on having a rifle.
Yeah.
They're going, do you know what a rifle looks like? And he's like, yeah, but like, I thought, your thing was swords and mine was guns, but it looks like you have guns now too. So
okay.
But it was just like, it's really, dude, it looks funny. It looks like you said, like there's going to be a lot of action.
You want to know what my favorite part of the trailer was?
What's that? Kurt Russell coming out at the end. He's
such a baller, man. Like, yeah. Kurt Russell is just such a G. He was awesome in The Hateful Eight, man. So just to kind of see him rocking that serious stash, bro. He's got a serious stash. So I don't know, man. I'm pumped to see it, dude. I'm pumped to see him. He brings just a different energy to the screen,
Yeah, man.
So he's just old school, I mean, dude, it's he was in The Thing.
So right now too, like yesterday actually, Ghost in the Shell was released.
Yeah.
Which is an odd day to release a movie, Tuesday, right?
Right.
And I have a feeling it's just because they want to bolster their opening numbers.
Yeah.
So, like, if they open on Tuesday, they get some crowds on Tuesday, Wednesday, ramp up on Thursday and Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday, hopefully bring it home and have, like, a big opening weekend.
Yeah, but they might actually be doing that a little bit early because Logan's going to kill it this weekend.
That's what I'm saying. They want to get a head start on that.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know, man. Like, and I've said this before, I'm skeptical because of the extreme whitewashing of the film.
Right.
Which is a term that I've not enjoyed using in the past. I've actually like defended studios for, casting certain characters in certain roles that people think should have been either an Asian or a black dude or whatever. Sometimes somebody's just better for the role. And I suppose you could say the same thing here, but this is just one of those things where you haven't changed the lore.
Right.
It's still happening in Tokyo. It's still Japanese. Like, everybody is still supposed to be Japanese. So why would you cast white Americans in these roles? Because it's not just her. There's like the only Asians that I saw in the film were like in the background, like background characters. And and I'm being very quick to jump to conclusions here because I haven't seen the film yet. I've seen maybe 5 minutes total of that film. So I can't tell you for sure that they're all background characters, but it sure in hell seems like it's all background characters that are Asian. But the main characters, the two, Beto and the Major, are definitely not Asian, and they should be. So yeah, that's something that aggravates me. So it's like that is causing me to be skeptical. I'm still going to see the film because, fuck, it's still Scarlett Johansson, and got to see ScarJo on the big screen when the opportunity arises.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things where I feel like that's just been done so much in the past, though. And I noticed it when I was a kid, and I don't have any examples to kind of, shed some light on what I mean. But it's kind of like when you used to watch like Saved by the Bell, and that like they're clearly not in high school because they're too old. know, it's like suspension of disbelief. Like you'd go in and be like, all right, like, yeah, they're not Asian, but let's just have fun with this movie. But I feel like there are enough, Asian actors out there where they probably could have gotten people to do this, the right way without.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's
what I'm saying. And then at the same time, I look at YouTube and you find, Superman in India, and it's not, they've totally, quote unquote, brownwashed the character, right? Like he's totally not an American white dude. He's an Indian guy dressed as Superman with Superman's powers and all that shit. There's a Wonder Woman in Korea that's like she's Korean Wonder Woman. Like, so I mean, if they can do it, like, why can't we? I guess that's an argument, but at the same time, like, I think we have a responsibility.
Yeah. Because
we are capable of casting multicultural films, where in India you might not be.
True.
Right?
Makes sense.
Well, you're definitely not able to cast a multicultural film in India because it's just not going to happen. Right? And definitely not in Japan or any other country. We are we're the country that actually prides itself on being a multicultural melting pot, right?
Right.
So, why not portray that on the screen? I guess that's my biggest gripe.
Right.
I didn't mean to get down that path, but yeah, I'm going to go see the movie.
I know you're going to check it out, man. You'll have to let me know how it is. I mean, I definitely want to check out Logan, but, I'm not going to waste my Vegas time to do that. I'll do it
when you come back.
Yeah.
But I will have seen it. Friday's a major day, man, a major fucking
I know
day.
it is. I know it is, man. You're probably going to see both of them on Friday.
Yeah, I'm gonna see both of those on Friday. Plus, I'm gonna get the Switch.
Nice.
With 1-2 Switch, the new Zelda game, Breath of the Wild, and I'll be getting Snipper Clips, which looks like a really fun multiplayer game, to check all of those out, and I'll be reporting on those on the next podcast.
Hell yeah. I did want to bring up one thing about Logan, though, is that there was a tweet that went out where, obviously Ryan Reynolds saw Logan ahead of everybody else, and he did shoot out a tweet that said, yes, and he basically tagged Hugh Jackman, and he was like, Hugh Jackman brings all 31 flavors of shit kickery to Logan. Couldn't be happier for you, heart and soul. So, Ryan Reynolds making a pretty damn good movie, with Deadpool, saw Logan and said it was awesome, and Hugh Jackman killed it. So, and I've been hearing nothing but good things, about this movie from people that have seen it. But I did watch something very interesting on The Tonight Show, and I don't know if you've heard about this, man, but he kind of Hugh Jackman talked about why he decided to actually make Logan his last Wolverine movie, because he's been doing it for, I think it was like 17 years.
Right.
Or 14 years. He actually said that the person that kind of got this in his head that to finish off like with Logan was Jerry Seinfeld. I guess he was talking to Jerry Seinfeld, and Jerry Seinfeld said, when you do a character for so long, he's like, and you just keep stepping into that same character, he's like, your mind sometimes can stop looking to be creative. He's like, because you're not that you're not challenging yourself, but you're not challenging yourself to be creative, to create new things, and Hugh Jackman, being like a classically trained actor, thought that this was a good point, and actually agreed that it was probably a good time for him to like finish it. So, and he said every 2 years he's kind of like had to watch what he eats, because it's like he'll like eat whatever he wants, and then he's like, well, I can't go too crazy because in 2 years I gotta get in good shape again. So like for the past like 17 years he's been always getting in shape for Logan, like staying on that health kick. So I don't know, I give him credit though, man. I think that he's gonna really do a good job with this, and I can't wait to see it. So you'll have to give me a thumbs up or thumbs down after you check it out.
For sure. And I mean, like, to what you were just saying, man, I feel like you don't necessarily need to stop portraying a character. Like, just be more creative with the character. Well, right? Which is what he's doing with Logan to me. Like, I mean, I feel like Logan is a very creative usage of a storyline that exists, but they're really playing with it, and they're doing different things with it than what they did in the comics. Post-apocalyptic. Instead of post-apocalyptic, it looks like it's just in the near future. You know what I mean?
Right, but I think his point is that, instead of spending time portraying that same character in multiple films, finish off, like end strong on that character and then take on new projects where you can kind of be creative in other characters. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if you play the same character for so long, that's the only thing people really know you as. Like, when you say Hugh Jackman, you think Wolverine, because that's who Hugh Jackman is. Like, I don't think Les Mis. Like, I don't think The Prestige.
No, but that's never going to change, though.
I know that, but I'm just saying, like, it's gotten to that point where you associate him with Wolverine.
It's like Mark Hamill is Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, and when you say Mark Hamill, I actually don't think Star Wars right away. I actually think the Joker. Like, that's me. And then I'm like, oh yeah, he played Luke Skywalker.
That's because but you're also not like a huge Star
that's
Wars
why.
fan.
But that's a different perspective too. Like, I'm being not a Star Wars guy. That's what I think of first. Right. The other thing too is you got people like when you say Daniel Craig, what do you think of?
007.
Exactly. Like, he's 007. Like, you don't remember any other shit he's done. He's 007 now. So is Pierce Brosnan. So's Sean Connery. Like, you think James Bond. You don't think of the other roles they've been in. So it's like, I think when you do a certain character a certain amount of times and you do it well, people start to remember that if you've done it good. Like, I think Ryan Reynolds eventually is going to be Deadpool. If he isn't already.
Yeah, he's already Deadpool.
So
he's played the character twice now.
Well, once the right way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But still, he's been Wade Wilson for a very long time.
Right. Exactly.
Like, because ever since he played Wade Wilson in Wolverine Origins, it's like he was known as, like, the perfect person to play Deadpool.
Right.
Even though they fucked it up.
And they fucked it up, yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, that's kind of my whole take on that, but I definitely liked where Jerry Seinfeld's head was at. I think it makes sense in some respects, but there is another side to it where I see your point. So,
but yeah, just a bunch of shit coming out, man. It's a great month. You still didn't even talk about Kong of Skull Island. On the 17th, Iron Fist hits.
Dude, yeah, Iron Fist is. It's March. It's the beginning of March, so like I'm focusing on my trip right now. When I get back, I know I'm gonna be like pumped for all this stuff. So there's a lot of shit this month.
It's huge, man.
Yeah, Iron Fist.
And you're not into this, but Mass Effect Andromeda is coming out, and I'm fucking pumped for that.
Yeah.
Huge fan of the series, and man, like what I've seen so far, like, some of the new races and the new storylines that they've kind of introduced through these trailers, it just looks phenomenal. It looks like they're taking it in a completely new direction. We're going to get a lot of new stuff, and it's still going to be tied to the old stuff. So like there'll be like connectors, story-wise and plot-wise, that you should be looking out for. So I'm definitely pumped for that. I already put my money down on it. I'm waiting for it to come out very patiently or impatiently, but whatever.
Nice. One other big information that dropped today was it seems like it's official that Norman Reedus, Daryl from The Walking Dead, is actually going to be coming to the next Rhode Island Comic-Con. So,
word.
But you and I have speculated that probably won't happen. So, like, he might actually just cancel. So, who knows? I mean, I hope he shows, but he's such a big character. You know what I mean? That I just have this, like, I want him to be there so bad, and I hope that he is. But I just get so scared whenever they post this information because he's so big. I feel like he might have something come up last minute, because he's requested upon for so many different projects. Because like we had, R.I.P. Carrie Fisher was supposed to come to Rhode Island Comic Con, and everybody was pumped, and then she had like a last minute thing that came up. So I feel like that's the fear. Is that like we're gonna get so amped for him to be there, and then like last minute something could happen. So I'm hoping that he does make it though, because that would be so badass.
Yeah, I mean he's it's so far away.
Yeah.
And that's my fear, is that it's so far away, and I don't know anything about how this stuff is done. Like, is he under contract to go? Or is it just a verbal agreement? Was there money involved? Like, did money change hands already? Like, is it locked down? Is it a sure thing? Or is it just, hey, we talked to him, he said he'd do it, and here we go. So I think, what I want to do at some point is definitely get in touch with Susan Soares, the press relations person at Altered Reality Entertainment, because they're the folks that actually put this thing together, and just talk to her and see what the deal is, like how they do this stuff and what goes into it, because I'm sure it's a lot. I'm sure it's a lot of hard work, and I'm sure that they put a lot of effort into this stuff, and I doubt that they would actually announce this if it wasn't at least 75% lockdown or 90% lockdown. I don't know what they're looking at for a number as far as the reliability of the information, but I'm sure they don't want to fall on their sword.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. Not that it's a Comic-Con thing, but a very similar thing. I mean, I was pumped a couple 2 years ago when I bought tickets to I was going to meet Richard Dreyfuss, the last surviving cast member of Jaws, basically. I mean, there's maybe one other people, and he was supposed to come to this thing in Worcester, where they were going to do a 40th anniversary screening of Jaws, and he was going to be there, and then he was going to talk about it after. That was the big part of it, but he was going to be at this convention, and I was going to meet him, and then I think it was a couple of days before it was released that he wasn't coming because he had to film something for ABC or CBS. And it's kind of what the fuck, man? A bunch of people had to get their tickets refunded. The people that had said that he was going to be there sent out a big letter basically saying why he wasn't coming and how they fought to keep him. And he kind of basically it was a breach of contract, I think. And it wasn't their fault, because if you say someone's coming and they don't show, it makes you guys look bad, but it wasn't their fault. They tried everything to keep him there. So, right. But you wonder though, if he does get a gig, what does he choose, and does he breach contract? And that's something that I definitely want to find more information about. So she would be the person to talk to about all this.
Yeah. And it's it's just interesting to me because there's so many, it's cool to walk in, see the guys there, say what's up, get to meet them and all that. But just to see what goes into bringing them there, and what goes into making sure that everything goes off without a hitch. It's got to be, it's either got to be challenging or a shit ton of fun.
Yeah, and it's a year-long process, because right after Rhode Island Comic-Con ended, they were, I think 2 weeks later, pumping out on Facebook, Rhode Island Comic-Con 2017, here's our first guest that we have locked down, So it's as soon as it ends, they're pumping out the guests for the next year, so people know that it's happening.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't just as simple as knowing their A&R, or their relations manager, their PR guy,
right?
Just so that they could. They probably just talk to them and say, hey, who can we bring in next year? You know what I mean? And then they get to working on it, and they talk to some of their people, and then they get back to her. And it's probably as simple as that, but I don't want to make it sound that simple without getting more information about it, because I obviously don't know shit about how that works.
Yeah. I aside from that, I did find out some other information this weekend about Boston Comic-Con, and I just wanted to throw this out there because it was super great news for me, and I'm sure that if you are a local listener or not, and you want to travel to Boston, this is great news. So I found out and confirmed this today on the Boston Comic-Con website that one of the guests that will be coming to Boston Comic-Con is officially Tim Curry, and I'm a huge Tim Curry fan. If you like Rocky Horror Picture Show, if you like Legend, if you like, Home Alone 2, if you like Pennywise the Clown from It, this guy has literally done it all. I've talked about him in the past that he did have a stroke recently, and he is doing better, but not the best. But he has made a lot of improvements. So I'm happy for that. But the fact that he is actually coming to a convention is amazing, and I am so psyched that he's coming, because I cannot wait to meet this guy. I'm willing to pay whatever it is to meet him, because I've been a fan of his for years, and I just can't pass it up. whatever it takes for me to go to this convention, I'm going to go. And my mother's like a huge Tim Curry fan, like my aunt, like friends of mine, and they're all on board to go meet this guy. So if you are, like I said, a local listener, or you don't know if he's going to be at a convention near you and you want to travel to Boston, do it, because he's going to be there and it's happening in August. So I don't know, man. Would you meet him? I mean, I know he's not really one of your favorites, but I mean, it's not like you're going to see him on anything on TV, coming out. So, I mean, would you put your feelings aside about breaking the character if it's, you know what I mean, to see somebody you even have an interest in?
Yeah, here's my thing. Like, Tim Curry,
yeah,
it's great. I'm not spending money on meeting him. Like,
right.
But
that's pretty much your thing with everybody.
Well, Stan Lee I met and I spent money on.
Yeah, but that's Stan Lee. I mean,
exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like, I need that status to put money into meeting a celebrity, and I not only that status, but I mean Stan Lee, again, not an actor, not somebody who there's not that broken illusion.
Mm-hmm.
And when I talk about that broken illusion, it's like when I see you on stage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're Tony to me, and you're acting like somebody, and I'm like, oh, Tony did a great job acting like that character,
yeah.
right? But I can never, and this isn't because of you, this is just my mind and the way it works, I can never see you as, I can never, like, have that illusion of you being somebody else completely. You know what I mean? And that's, again, it's not trying to be insulting to your skills, because your skills are great, but I see you as being Tony, doing a great job being somebody else.
You might actually feel different about that in April.
We'll see.
I'm just saying, because this character is the exact opposite of me. I mean, this character is physically different, doesn't have the same voice
right
at all. I mean, like friends of mine have seen me do it in the past, and I'm hoping that you have the similar experience, and I'm not tooting my own horn here, but like, I would hope that for a moment, even if it's for 10 seconds, dude, that you're watching the show and then for a second you go, oh yeah, that's Tony. Because for a second you forgot that it was me.
Right.
And if I even do that for 10 seconds, then I did my job. Because you forget that it's me even for a second. It doesn't have to be for the entire show, because when intermission hits, you're going to remember, right? But like, if even for 10, 20 seconds, you're seeing me as that character and then you remember, oh, that's Tony, I've done my job.
Yeah, like I get it. Like but even that, like, to me is less than what I want out of my TV experience. Like, for instance, if I'm watching The Walking Dead, but I met Andrew Lincoln, and let's say Andrew Lincoln and I talked for a good chunk of time, and I got to know him a little bit, I'd be like, that's Andrew Lincoln. And when I see him on TV, he's not Rick Grimes anymore. He's Andrew Lincoln being Rick Grimes. And I'm like, wow, Andrew Lincoln does a great job as Rick Grimes. And it's like, it's a completely different experience than looking at the TV and being like, that's Rick Grimes and that's Michonne. And
yeah, but I mean, like, what happens when you watch, like, Talking Dead? It's like, it's them. They're out of character.
No, because it's different, because I don't know them. I haven't met them. I haven't touched them. They're not fucking real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't know. I don't see what the big deal is with that. Like, I don't know, man. It's just me. I don't get that. Like, I don't forget that, like, it's yeah, I know that when I watch the show, he's playing a character. It's not a real person, but like, then I see him on The Talking Dead, like King Ezekiel. Well, that is without his like his fake dreads on. Like, okay, it's the actor. And then, like, if I meet the dude that I saw in Talking Dead, it's like, oh, nice job on the show, man. But then I watch the show and I forget that, like, I met him because the show sucks me back in. Like, I don't know, man. The whole time I'm watching him, I'm not like, I met him. Like, it's not him. It's not real. Like, I get sucked back into that.
But no, that's not what's going on in my head.
Then what's going on? Like, why can't you?
I'm not saying I met him. It's not real.
I'm not saying literally you're saying that.
My mind just sees Andrew Lincoln at that point.
You can't. So you're saying that he's not that good of an actor, that he can't suck you back into it.
He's a fantastic actor, and he sucks me back in after I see him in an interview or something. But
why would he not suck you in back if you met him? You'd forget that you met him because you get sucked back into the show again.
Not going to happen. I've already fucked up an experience before. So
with who?
with what's his name there? Fucking Hurley from Lost. I can't remember his name now, but like he just wasn't fucking Hurley anymore. He was fucking dude that I met him. He was
I don't
just
know,
fucking...
man. No offense. Like, I think him and like Andrew Lincoln are on like a different caliber of acting. Like, no offense. Like, I think Andrew Lincoln and the people in The Walking Dead are higher caliber.
Doesn't offend me. I'm just saying I know how my brain works. Is all I'm saying. Like, and I've known
that blows my mind. I don't get it. I get it. I get your perspective. I just don't understand how that makes any sense. I like I see both sides of it, but dude, I feel like I should be saying the stuff that you're saying because I am an actor.
Right.
Like dude,
and I feel like you should understand what the fuck I'm saying.
No, I do understand, but like I've admitted that. And I've admitted that, but it's like if I go to the only problem I have is that like I'll go to a show, right? Or I'll go to a movie, and if it's an actor that I am a big fan of, I get sucked out of that because there are points where I'm like, "Oh man, like he's an actor." Right? Like, that's Leonardo DiCaprio, just as an example, right? Or that's Christian Bale. I focus more on what he's doing as an actor, and that sometimes sucks me out of it. But, dude, there are times where it's like they're doing such a good job acting that I forget it. Like, I met Christian Bale, dude, but I watch a movie with him, and I completely forget it's him because he's that good. Mm-hmm. You know? And I'm just like, I feel like it, I don't know, like... So you would not meet Norman Reedus if he came?
Oh no, absolutely not.
No?
No.
Man.
That doesn't mean you can't.
I probably would.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I mean, like, I'm a Walking Dead fan, but I don't know if I need to meet. I usually go up with Don. like Don pays to meet all these people, and I'm there. I take the picture for him, and I'm like, oh, hey, man, nice to meet you. Like, I don't need an autograph. Like, I don't need a picture with these people. Like, I get pictures with people that are idols to me. Norman Reedus is great as Daryl. Do I need a picture with him? No. But, like, do I need a picture with Tim Curry? Absolutely. Like,
yeah, if
you know
we got
to
talk to him, I would probably talk to him. Like, but it would fuck with me. It really would. Like, that would really hurt my experience on like watching The Walking Dead. Like, because Daryl is like such a huge part of the show.
Yeah. I just think it's funny that like you can see him in an interview and it doesn't affect it.
Well, yeah, because I don't know them. Yeah, I don't know him. I haven't met him. There's no physical like realness to it. You know what I mean?
It's still like a TV land thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I respect it, man. I respect your point of view. I just feel there's part of me that can't see it, but I get it, man. I get it.
Word.
So,
but yeah, so that's it, man, for this week.
Yeah, that's it. Guys, check out Red Bear Podcast because we have 3 interviews already up. We got more to come. We're going to be releasing the Olivia one. And we have 3 other interviews where Wicked Lou actually talks to some really cool people and actually interviews the car Christine. So that'll be kind of funny for you guys to check out.
Nice.
But other than that, we'll see you guys next week.
Yep. Thanks
Peace.
for putting up with my shitty voice.
Later.